Hi everyone, my name is Katie and I live with depressive type schizoaffective disorder. And today I wanted to talk to you about 3 things that other people can do to help me when I'm experiencing psychosis. So for those of you who don't know, schizoaffective disorder is kind of at its most basic level like a combination of schizophrenia and a mood disorder, either bipolar disorder or depression. So for me, that's depression. I experience all the symptoms of schizophrenia and all the symptoms of depression, and sometimes they happen together and sometimes they happen separately. So let's dive into the list. Number 1. Reality checking. One of the best things that people can do for me when I'm experiencing psychosis is reality checking. And that is when I say, hey, did you see this? Did you hear this? Is this happening? Anything like that. And you can answer honestly. And that's really important, to answer honestly. Don't play into it because you think it's going to make me feel better. Don't say, oh no, it is real, if it's not really there. So if I say, is something happening? Is something here? Is something, did you hear this? Did you see this? Then it's really important for you to answer honestly so that I can get my bearings and know whether or not I'm experiencing symptoms. Because that way, if I'm experiencing symptoms, I know that I need to go talk to my doctor or do whatever it is that I need to do according to my treatment plan to help myself get better. Reality checking is also really important because it helps me get my bearings for points in time where I feel like I'm doing pretty well, but then maybe I hear something or see something and I'm not totally sure if that was real. If I can ask someone and say, hey, did you see this? And they say, you know what, I didn't. Are you okay? Then I know that, okay, maybe I'm not doing so great right now. Maybe I need to talk to my doctor. Maybe there's something else that I need to be doing. I need to take better care of my mental health right now, whatever it is. And that will really help me get my bearings and get a read on how I'm doing. And sometimes things happen and I can have a hallucination, and it doesn't mean that my mental health is declining, but it's always just better to know. Now, if you're reality checking with someone and the answer is no, it's not real, it's not there, it's not really happening, whatever it is that this person is experiencing is not happening to you or to the rest of the world, then you can do either of the other 2 things in this list. Number 2, distraction. Sometimes the best thing for me when I'm experiencing psychosis is a distraction. It's to think of something else, to get my mind off of what's happening, to focus on something completely different, whether that's something more comforting, something that makes me happy, or just something entirely different altogether. So that can mean if I am reality checking with someone and I say, hey, did you see this? Did you hear this? And they say no, then they can say, hey, do you want a distraction? Do you want to go color? Do you want to go do this thing? Do you want to go for a walk? Do you want to go find your dog? Do you want to do anything? Anything that will take me out of my head and move me into a different space, whether that's a mental space or a physical space or both. Distraction can be really important because sometimes talking about it won't help me. Sometimes I need to think about something else or just get my mind off of it. It's true, sometimes talking is helpful to really sit down and have a heart-to-heart and talk about what I'm experiencing, what I'm seeing, what I'm going through. But sometimes it's just not helpful. Number 3, helping me ground myself. A hug, a hand on my arm, hugging my dog, having my dog lean against me or lie next to me, sitting down on the ground, lying down on the ground. These are all things that help me ground myself. And sometimes having other people help me do that can be really helpful for making me feel safer doing it, or just because I can't do it myself. Like, hugging myself is only going to do so much. So to have someone else hug me or, put their hand on my arm or put her arm around me or anything like that can be really helpful sometimes. Now, sometimes that's not helpful. Sometimes the last thing I want is to be touched by a human. So having a pet that you can have sit on your lap or lean against you or anything like that. So having someone help you get to that animal that will help you really ground yourself and calm down. And sometimes having someone help you sit or lie on the ground is also helpful, just to be there to make you feel more secure and more safe. Things like breathing exercises are also great for grounding, and it can be helpful to have someone there to help you walk through it. Or even to have an app or something that can help you work through a breathing exercise can be really, really helpful. So there are 3 things that help me when I'm experiencing psychosis. Now, there are other things that help me when I'm experiencing psychosis, but these 3 are the most useful and most reliable for me because there are a lot of other things that I can do that work sometimes, but not all the time. And nothing is really going to be 100%. There's always going to be some point in time where a distraction is not going to work, or reality checking isn't going to help, or grounding myself isn't going to make me feel better. But these 3 things have been the most reliable for me when it comes to helping me when I am experiencing psychosis, and they are all things that other people can help me with. I hope that this is helpful. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks, guys.